Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Kentucky Democratic Party's Medicaid defense tour made its first stop in Hazard. And hay growers say a wetter spring is impacting their product, changing the way farmers across our region are doing things.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this August 15th. It is 5:31 this morning and time to check in with Megan Dusmal for a look at that forecast. And we might have some fog this morning, Megan. I think today I just can't talk. The heat's getting to my head. It really, really is.
Yeah, we kind of have a mixture of both those two elements, fog and, of course, the heat. And it's going to be a hot day, so let's kind of tell you what you can expect as you're heading out the door. We're really seeing those 60s and 70s, and then this afternoon, the 90s. So yes, a very hot day, and we're only going to see those temperatures getting hotter as we're going into the weekend. And just as Amelia mentioned, it's also going to be a foggy start to your day. We're going to see some dense patches of fog all across eastern Kentucky, so just make sure you're driving safe if you're heading out the door this morning. But in terms of rain, we are nice and clear. We do see some slight chances for scattered showers and storms in the afternoon, mainly for our western counties. So here's a breakdown of your day. Again, we'll see those temperatures warming up. We'll hit a high around that 4 o'clock mark, looking at a slight chance of those scattered showers. Amelia.
2 people are dead after a crash involving a motorcycle and another vehicle in Madison County. That crash happened just after 11 o'clock yesterday at the intersection of Berea Road and Center Drive in Richmond. One of the people killed was 54-year-old Tommy Oliver of Richmond. The coroner says the second victim, who has not been identified, died at UK Hospital. Louisville leaders are calling for change after a shooting near a school bus stop. Radija Williams' family says she was killed while walking a child to the bus. The shooter is still at large. Community leaders had strong words at a news conference yesterday morning. Family members say Williams was a good person and that her family will not stop fighting for justice.
I had to watch my sister lay on that ground and take her last breath, and there was nothing I could do about it. I don't got nothing else to say.
Police say a teenager they questioned in this case is facing charges for another shooting in the area. An eastern Kentucky man is expected to change his plea in a federal drug case. In a motion filed, attorneys representing Danny Sloan asked for a change in plea in the case. The judge agreed, which resulted in canceling the jury trial that had been scheduled for later this month. An indictment says Sloan knowingly and intentionally distributed more than 50 grams of meth in Knott County. The incident happened in September of last year. Several people could be dropped from a lawsuit filed by Riley Strain's family. The wrongful death lawsuit against his former fraternity is being heard by a judge. It claims the fraternity did not follow safety protocols when they visited Nashville last year. Strain went missing and was later recovered from the Cumberland River. His family claims his fraternity brothers did not help him back to the hotel after he was kicked out of a bar and did not check on him until later. A Johnson County man appeared before a Floyd County judge yesterday and was sentenced to prison after pleading guilty to his role in a 2023 crash that killed 2 teenagers. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the latest.
Just to say, Ron, he has no criminal record. Truly remorseful.
Marcus Auksher appeared before Judge Johnny Ray Harris Thursday, receiving his sentence in connection to a 2023 car crash that killed 16-year-old Kendra Marino and 13-year-old McKenna Barnett.
That night, I remember everything. It's been really hard. I have nightmares. I struggle. It's things nobody wants to see.
Abby McKenzie was in the vehicle when the crash occurred. She says she has been waiting for justice since Auksher, who pleaded guilty to driving under the influence that night, changed everyone's lives forever.
The past 2 years waiting, it's just been like, I feel like I've been waiting for the longest time of my life. Just constant battles with it. over and over, but it's finally ended now.
Aksher was sentenced to 13 years in a state penitentiary, convicted for 2 counts of vehicular homicide, operating a vehicle under the influence, assault, and leaving the scene.
I'm very happy that he did get the 13 years. I do think there should have been more.
The sentence was recommended by the Commonwealth as part of the plea deal Aksher agreed to through mediation with the impacted families earlier this year.
It's been very draining, and just waiting for when it was going to happen, and it finally happened, and I'm just glad that it's all over now. I just hope for it, when he ever gets out, I just hope he makes the right choices.
And though they say there is no true justice for the girls, their friends hope the trauma will at least serve as a teacher.
Really to watch what you're doing, be careful what you're doing, and if you are under the influence, like, don't put people in your vehicle. Be safe.
In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Aksher will not be eligible for parole until at least 85% of his 13-year sentence has been served. Well, a man is facing charges after police in Pulaski County say they found around 50 grams of meth in a vehicle. It happened on Highway 790 in Bronson Tuesday evening. After police pulled over 56-year-old Cavender, they also found 5 Suboxone pills and nearly $500 in cash. He was charged 2 counts of trafficking in a controlled substance. A special meeting is being held today to talk about the accusations against London Mayor Randall Weddle. It's happening at noon. Mayor Weddle is facing 14 allegations of misconduct. He's accused of hiring people for positions not approved by council and paying employees excessively. The city council could hear evidence in attempts to impeach the mayor. Mayor Weddle took to social media last night saying, quote, "You might impeach me, but you can't impeach the voters come 2026, end quote. In order for Mayor Weddle to be impeached, all city council members need to agree. A lawsuit and an investigation into the practice of illegal immigrants paying for driver's license under the table could warrant new legislation. That's according to several state lawmakers that we spoke with yesterday. State officials say there's been an investigation into claims now citizens were able to pay cash for licenses. Senator Aaron Reed says the issuance of licenses for cash under the table to illegal immigrants raises a lot of questions.
I think we need to really do a deep dive into what allowed this to happen in the first place. What could these IDs be used for that we're not talking about? You know, we've heard what they can't be used for, but I'm wondering what they could be used for.
Reed says he wants to see issuance of licenses returned to the local level. Senator Jimmy Higdon says circuit court clerks have said they don't want the responsibility any longer. We'll have more details about this coming up on Mountain News this morning at 6. Students attending Morehead State participated in the first of 2 move-in days yesterday. The university welcomed in more than 1,000 students on campus as they move into multiple different housing units on campus. Move-in activities for the university will continue this morning at 9 o'clock. Well, here's some other colleges in our area are returning to school. Alice Lloyd College and Union Commonwealth University will have their first day of classes on Tuesday. UVA-Wise will start up in the fall on Wednesday, and the University of the Cumberland starts the new school year on August 25th. Kentucky high schoolers could end up taking a different standardized test during their junior year. The Lexington Herald-Leader reports the State Department of Education plans on switching from the ACT to the SAT. That would mean giving a contract to the College Board, the nonprofit in charge of the SAT and advanced placement testing. KDE let its contract with the ACT expire earlier this summer. Students could still take the ACT on their own. The Kentucky Democratic Party's Medicaid defense tour made its first stop in Hazard. Party leaders say recent federal budget changes could impact rural health care. Many Republicans say the changes are designed to protect the program for those most in need. At Hazard Community and Technical College, speakers pointed to Perry County's heavy reliance on Medicaid. About 51% of residents use the program. They say the changes could affect health care access for thousands in eastern Kentucky.
When you take a step back and you look at the potential impacts that this could have when it comes to the economy, day-to-day life, making sure that food is on the table and that everybody has the prescriptions they need, people realize how serious that this has the potential to be.
Congressman Andy Barr says the legislation also includes $50 billion for a rural health transformation program, but acknowledges more advocacy may be needed to support rural hospitals. The new provisions take effect in 2027. Those with electric vehicles who travel to Breaks Interstate Park will now be able to charge them for free. Officials with the park say they had a ribbon cutting to celebrate the additional amenity early yesterday. The park superintendent, Austin Bradley, says they've seen several requests for an EV charging station, and Virginia Clean Cities helped them meet that need. Hay growers say a wetter spring is impacting their product. That's changing the way farmers across our region are doing things. Farmers say they need several days of dry weather to harvest in the spring, but it didn't really happen the way they needed it to this year. UK's Woodford County Extension Agent of Agriculture and Natural Resources says farmers are able to cut twice a year, even 3 times if weather really cooperates. We are told meeting that average is in jeopardy.
So that delayed forage harvest, that first cutting, and so that put all the farmers behind. That compounded and delayed them for a second cutting this year. But with that delayed first cutting, we've seen a little lower hay quality.
Because of the weather earlier this year, farmers harvested 30 to 45 days late. This may result in lower quality and quantity of hay. However, it's too soon right now to know how it will impact supply and demand. The air conditioning at Bourbon County Middle School is back up and running. The district said the AC broke Wednesday afternoon. A crew repaired it that night. Yesterday morning, the district said in a Facebook post they are waiting for the building to cool down. They're still monitoring the issue. Well, Americans are now drinking alcohol at the lowest level in decades. A new Gallup poll found just 54% of U.S. adults say they drink alcohol. That's the lowest number reported in the poll's history. It comes as a record 53% of Americans say drinking, even in moderation, is bad for your health. Researchers also noted a steep decline in drinking among young adults, from 59% in 2023 to 50% today.
This demographic is growing up with more messaging about the health risks of alcohol in comparison to older adults who grew up with some messaging about, 1 glass of wine might be good for your health. There is a possibility that this age group is also using cannabis more as cannabis is becoming more legal and less alcohol.
The decline in drinking has been more pronounced among women than men. According to the poll, only 51% of women reported drinking compared to 57% of men. Now 5:43, Timothy Chalamet is surfing a whole new look in Marty Supreme. That and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
And I'll have an update on Tropical Storm Erin coming up.